teams find home in. I mean, they both are very comfortable on it, so this should be a pretty cool matchup here. Last time they played it was head-to-head on Win-Out Land, where Luminosity had a huge win over CLG on it, so maybe CLG looking for some revenge here, but this pistol round has pretty much gotten turned on their heads.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I would have liked to had the round even lasted long enough to talk about is how Luminosity won the first game, 16-8, so badly. Almost, I mean, they were playing well as a team, but they were just winning virtually every aim battle. Like they were trading, they were getting the entry frags on demand. And this game thus far not starting off any differently. And it was actually something I was a little bit worried about for CLG coming into this, because Luminosity was just so clearly out shooting CLG, and then they got to start on the CT side of the map first, as it was CLG's map choice. And I was curious whether that was going to impact them on the pistol round, and it certainly did. CLG never even got to put together a round there because it was Luminosity shutting it down before they even got going.
I mean, we know Luminosity historically has always been good on this map. They've beaten CLG at Went Out and PGL recently. They did drop it to Liquid a couple of times, so they've had a little bit of struggle, but I think that's more of Liquid coming up than like Luminosity struggling, to be honest. So it's still a very strong team on this map, and like I said, they've given CLG some losses on it in recent times. But CLG in this round so far fighting back to be able to get maybe a bomb plant here, but you do see that bomb actually, I guess it was thinking about falling off to go B, but now they're just kind of holding their ground, waiting to see if they can get Luminosity to rotate a little bit first before they actually bring this thing in. But right now, Luminosity seems to be kind of holding their ground.
Yeah, if trying to get Luminosity to rotate was the plan, then mission accomplished. Unfortunately, they had them rotate exactly to where they are, and Steel picking up 2 frags with the ump.
Yeah, now Tarek is going to be in a 1 versus 2. The bomb is actually down here towards the inside of the site. Cold will jump out a window and try to do a little bit of a crossfire here with Cold as they work from 2 different angles on the Tarek. They're kind of jumped into the site, trying to see if he can spot someone here, but no one has given him anything to work with. He will go collect the bomb, and he could actually plant safely because no one CT spawned, but he didn't really realize that, so he just tried to go for an engagement. He does fall to Cold, and so a little bit of damage done by CLG, of course, forcing up a lot of rebuy, so that's good, keeping the CT money low, but still around for Luminosity nonetheless.
Yeah, I agree with all points presented. CLG's gonna have they're gonna have a tough time beating Luminosity Gaming here. We saw that they have the setups; they can smoke and flash on the sites. They're gonna be well coordinated in that department, and they're just gonna have to put it together with the guns in their hands. And I don't think this is the round for them. I think might as well call this one a wash. Is that they're gonna need rifles to beat this Luminosity Gaming.
We've talked a little bit about Luminosity's recent Mirage ventures, talking about CLG. Of course, they do have the head-to-head losses to Luminosity. This round is pretty much just the garbage round, but CLG has had their recent losses, Luminosity on PGL and Went Out, but we know historically they've been a good team on this map. You know, they've beaten, you know, even Fnatic, you know, in recent times on LAN. You know, they have some wins against what is now Team Coast, the former Orgless, and Conquest on this map in our own league. And they've had, you know, mixed results against Liquid. I think they traded the map against them. So we know that they can be a good Mirage team, but we also know they were a great Cash team, and Luminosity just upset them on it. So I'm wondering how they will respond, as they will open up here. On their, looks like this is their default. Yeah, they love this Centergi. There's an entry fragger in kind of a lurk position on this particular map on the A side while they just work mid control. And so this is kind of just their mid control default right here from CLG.
It actually looks a lot like their default on Cash, sending Tarek alone to B early on, where he's actually getting picked a little bit by, was it Fallen that was hopping there over towards B?
That was actually Finesse on the B side that got picked off by Fallen.
Really? I'm just incorrect. All right, well, ignore what I just said.
He used to do that.
Tarek.
Here's the thing. Tarek will do that sometimes. Sometimes he'll be part of the main entry squad, and then sometimes they just send him off on his own. Kind of like what Conquest does with
once last game. Maybe it was FNS. I could be getting confused there. But they do have Haze boosted up in the window, so some map control going in the way of CLG, and
yeah, I mean,
see what Haze is capable of.
Luminosity just playing so passive on mid here, so it's allowed Haze just to kind of slip in here. And so we do have CLG looking to get up connector. And this is why they kind of lurk Tarek over at A, because they want him to be an entry force on the ramp and Palace, while the rest of the team is kind of distracting from connector, causing chaos. And Haze does, in fact, pick up bolts here. Now CLG are just collapsing on A with no worries whatsoever. Cole trying to fight back here. He does pick up a couple of frags, but CLG pretty much have this one in the bag. Steel is the only one left, and he gets taken care of. So there you have it. CLG winning the opening gun on here, just off their mid default, just putting a lot of pressure on Connector, securing the site.
Yeah, and those players, particularly Fur from under the balcony, had no idea that the CLG players had taken as much map control as they did, and he was very clearly surprised. He was throwing a Molotov towards the apartment's palace while getting shot in the back from Connector, so very clearly had no idea what the CLG members were up to, and they utilized it nearly to perfection. It was just Cold Zero, who was a bit of a troublemaker in the site for a while. They weren't quite able to fish him out, but had they would have been able to win it much more cleanly and get the economy going. But right now Luminosity Gaming is pushed up so hard on these T-stairs, and Finesse might get caught off guard here, and he does.
And he does, and so does JDM as well. So Luminosity putting a little bit of aggression out here on the CT side, a little bit uncharacteristic, but they are going to find those picks. So job well done there as CLG trying to see how they're going to be able to recover off of that. I mean, losing 2 bins so early in the round before you can even really get established is very crippling. They do have that bomb still on A ramp. They do have Hayes actually slipping up mid to Connector. Cold not paying any mind to it. So Hayes could come up Connector and try to release some pressure to allow Cutler and Tarek to make their way up the ramp. We'll see if that pallet plays out as Cutler does take out bolts, and Hayes again has kind of snuck in to this A site through a different route, but he's still done it. And then Cutler finds Fallen, so now it's back into a 3-on-3. So Luminosity had a huge advantage, and now they're kind of letting it slip a bit as this bomb is going to make its way inside the site and plant.
Yeah, their CLG's ability to slip through middle and kind of steal map control away from LG has been an issue here with rifles up. As Steel pushing through smoke, able to get a frag. He's on triple stack now, needs to make a play with his teammate on Connector, but the bomb is comfortably planted for T-stairs.
Yeah, absolutely, and Cutler has that op to just kind of watch this spot here. Flash is coming in. We do see Luminosity trying to close in on the site, but they've been able to get Cutler, but Tarek's still alive here on the A ramp. The defuse has been started by Steel. Tarek is not peeking yet, as he does step out here, gets the frag onto Steel, and there you have it. CLG, even after a rough start on the round, they lost 2 players early, are able to still convert the round and now force Luminosity onto a save.
Yeah, Tarek's unable to come away with that off, though, so actually neither of these teams are going to find the complete economic solvency that they were so desperately fighting for. I don't even see... It looks like JDM is not going to be rocking any gun at all here. Yeah, just going to be tech 9ing here with the rest of his teammates who do have rifles up. So, I mean, I assume he's going to be using that cash to buy an op down the line, but certainly not going to see it this round. Luminosity has spent virtually $0, so they have 1 P250 or 2 actually. And I think that's all the money they spent, but even still, CLG needs to be a little careful having one of their players without a primary rifle or even any armor.
Right. They have put the bomb on him, and he's kind of hanging back, so hopefully he'll avoid too much trouble here. As again, this opening default, CLG just really working this mid control, like I said, with Tarek being an entry fragger but lurking on the A side of the map, so kind of a twist on it as he does begin to work himself up the A ramp. The rest of his team is already beginning to work towards window and Connector. Tarek slipping over on the balcony, able to pick up bolts there underneath, and so it is CLG just again collapsing on this A bomb site. This is one of their bread and butter tactics they like to run, and it's worked out well for them so far tonight against Luminosity. The only other thing that you may see CLG do that's different is they actually, with their mid control, hit B a lot, to be honest, more often than most other teams that I watch play. So you could see them throw that in at some point, but with them being so successful on these A splits thus far, until Luminosity makes an adjustment, they may just be content on kind of running this over and over again.
Yeah, why not? If it ain't broke, why fix it? JDM's able to get a Galil there, so he will be escaping with something, although I'm sure... I guess he could give it to Finesse and buy up and op and then leave Hayes with his Galil as well. It leaves you in a real sticky Galil situation as Tarek gets that last frag. But there are a lot of ways that they can play this economically as they're moving into round 7. Their first ability to take a lead on this game since pistol round. And yeah, as I was predicting, Finesse going to be getting that Galil in his hands, and JDM himself going to be buying up that op. Does he have the spawn for it? Not quite. Not for a mid-pick at least. Yeah, let's see. He's actually looks like he's aiming towards Palace, so not going to be going for that immediate pick, but he's going to play it long.
Yeah, that's a cool place to put the op as well occasionally, just to try to see if you can get a different look. I know it's something we see a lot of teams incorporate, like a Dren on Liquid or JW and Fnatic will try to do that, but we do have a little bit of an aggression from Luminosity. Fur taking into underpass, able to find a pick. Cold getting in the battle with Hayes that mid early, but losing it. And so it is going to be Luminosity a man down here as CLG could be staging up for an A hit as that bomb begins to shift.
They also have like JDM now in the perfect position to cut off effectively half the bomb site. The players coming out of ramp can focus almost exclusively on CT. A quick smoke to cover up jungle deep, and JDM can switch his focus to connector.
Yes, Tarek has been able to make himself into the site here. JDM does pick up the rotation from Steel at that jungle location, as you mentioned. And now it's a 4-on-2 in favor of CLG. The bomb is going to get planted here by Cutler. Just bolts and Fur. Fur out in mid, getting caught by Hayes, who's still lurking in the area. And that pretty much means that Bolts is left to his own device, trying to see what he can do. Cutler will just push through the smoke, looking for the stats. He dies, but Tarek we'll find it. And so CLG 4 in a row after losing that pistol round pattern. They have not let up on Luminosity.
No, and I think right now we're seeing the perfect combination of CLG's strats coming alive, them getting places on the map where they need to be in fragging position, and the rifles coming alive at the same time, hitting the shots they need to, winning the engagements, and using their positional advantages to actually crank out round wins, because they certainly didn't last map on Cash.
And of course, we are on a save again from Luminosity. I also want to give a shout out to Penta Esports Tabson. He is our observer tonight. That might catch you off guard a little bit, but he's helping us out over at CEVO. That's actually really cool. And CLG are just working that mid control. Yet again, they've already picked up Fallen here over towards mid. Bolt's working the connector with the Deagle, but he's forced off. And so this is probably just another easy round for CLG unless they run into trouble. Maybe if they keep working towards B. There are a couple stacked up in a crossfire here.
And Fur could really punish Tarek here if he creeps up fast enough, but doesn't want to make too much noise as Steel is able to open up frags elsewhere. P250 working, switching to the AK, not going to be able to get it done for his guy I was talking about on the flank. Now the last man standing as CLG has a completely empty V bomb site.
Yeah, and you got to think he's just going to hold on to this AK and CZ for next round. There's really not much he could even hope for with the bomb planted all the way over at B, but Hayes,
go for a frag.
He could cut him off, and yeah, oh no, Fur responding appropriately there, so he gets to pick onto Hayes. That's another rebuy he's going to force out. I think at this point we shouldn't see any more action really, and so it'll just be 5-3 for CLG with the rest of the guys just kind of holding on to what they got. And CLG have been a force to be reckoned with here as they've won 5 in a row from the T side of Mirage, so they're certainly showing us that they are in fact quite good on this map and giving Luminosity, another good Mirage team, a good run.
Yeah, and you know, you never want the other team to save a rifle for free, but you know, with the 5 rounds straight, Luminosity Gaming is certainly going to be buying. So they're gonna have rifles on all their players no matter what. Allowing them to keep that AK is not the worst thing in the world as long as you're keeping your last 2 players alive there. So I like that play from CLG. Just not overextending, saying, hey, we already got punished a little bit. We know exactly where he is. We'll just contain him, not lose any more guns, and look forward to the next round, which is looking like a quicker B take here.
Yeah, like I said, CLG actually does love their B takes more than many other teams do. You know, a lot of teams will just use it as a eco, but CLG loves to do it on gun rounds as well, and they're just going to be pouring out. No engagements just yet, but Finesse does take down Cold. This is just going to go rather quickly as Finesse finds a second one as well as a 4-on-3. Fallen, though, with the Appa. Great spam through the bench onto Finesse, taking him out and getting it back to an even 3-on-3, but we're just having exchanges going left and right. It's been quite chaotic, but CLG does remain a man ahead as they do put this bomb down, or not yet actually. Tarek being kind of cautious, just drawing players out, and not a bad move. It was a safe way to play it, and CLG come out ahead, now up 6-3.
Fallen so desperately trying to be the hero of that round, pushed out into a sea of terrorists, dry, no smokes, no flashes coming out. He was able to get a frag because of it, was able to catch the terrorists mostly off guard, but that's not a long-term plan. You really can't expect more than 1 frag there if you want to come away with your life, and he was only able to get 1. So nice try from him, but not going to be enough to secure the rifle round. They're going to be bought up and trying to stay competitive in this game with the losing streak, but not the rifle round wins they need.
Yeah, and Fur has gotten the first pick this time. I think it's one of the first times I've seen Luminosity come off with an initial pick on CLG in quite a while. We did have that 1 round where they had 2 at A, but still lost the round. This time they are going to find just 1 as Tarek on that lurk at A has been able to make it in before the mid attack has even started. So he's already really kind of given Luminosity a lot of trouble. And with CLG with so much presence in mid, they can just cut off rotates as they come up the connector. But Cold catches 1. So it's Luminosity just dominating this round. Man, oh man, didn't see this one coming. It's all up the Cutler in a 1 versus 4. And this is going to be rather difficult for him. He does find one, tries to redirect the spray for another, but can't do it. And Luminosity, after 6 rounds in a row of being beaten, they finally come up with one of their own.
Yeah, it was it man, I just lost track of. Was that Bolt that was had his back to mid connector, or Cold?
Not 100%.
It was cold. It was cold. It definitely was cold. Playing that corner connector to jungle so well, not only keeping Tarek pinned in the site for so long at Firebox, not allowing him to cross, not allowing any other players in the site. You knew exactly where he was, kept him contained, but was also able to keep audio tabs on the players in middle and know when he was being pressured. The smoking connector kept him safe. He capitalized on it. He got the initial frag of someone coming up the connector, and just was like kind of the linchpin for the rest of his teammates there. They were all, I'm sure, working off of the information that he was generating for the rest of the team.
Now CLG changing it up a little bit, going for one of their heavy execute smokes all across the place. The 5-smoke setup. This is in fact Luminosity's own play that they developed back in January of this year when they were to boom at X Games. So CLG using a little bit of Luminosity's tactics against them here. So far, not going so well. Luminosity is waiting the smokes out, and CLG were kind of delayed on attacking when the smokes went out. And so this is just like a dream situations for Luminosity, as they will only lose one guy and Fallen with the quad kill. So just absolutely rip that set tactic apart.
Yeah, Steel has also been routinely using this P90 in the series and making it work for him. This is kind of a weirder map for it. It's not something like Inferno where it's super tight, or Nuke would have come to mind had that map still been in the rotation, but it's still, able to make the P90 work. There are some areas on this map where I most definitely would not want to have a P90, but if you're gonna be playing close in that B area, the apartments in the site, a P90 could definitely get the job done. 1-for-1 trade in middle as Hayes finds the second one as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the save round for CLG, and they're making it work. Look at this, just running their mid tactic, their mid default control, and they're just wrecking. The only difference is JDM was in ladder to cut off the rotate, so that was really the only variation on CLG's default, but they've just been so successful at picking up frags. It's all up to Fallen with the op. He's being jumped on at window. He has to back off. A Cutler's here waiting for him, but Fallen does land the shot. Now he's just kind of holding in between, looking to peek between CT spawn and the push at A. And oh my god, the flick on the Tarek. He's hunting to save this op here, and so far he's on track to do so. He does smoke off the window. JDM is going to be in that room. Is going to eat a little bit of nade damage, but not a lot.
He
died to the bomb explosion. What?
Yeah, we actually saw similar issues with Tarek dying to the bomb explosion from really far out. That was one of those rounds where he won a one-on-one. I think Tabson was hammering on the X-ray hockey, if that rings a bell. Run away with the op, 13 HP, and got killed pretty much in T-spawn. So the bombs on this in this game, actually not even on this map, but in this game in general, are ruthless. So solid nade from Fallen there. He's also able to retain the op, allow his teammates to buy up around it. But CLG stealing a round away from LG and potentially stealing their momentum as Fallen lines them up and knocks them down. One off shot, 2 frags for him. Fantastic way to start off the round.
Yeah, it's a fantastic way to start off my pants for this night as well. As,
Lord.
Had to. As now we have Luminosity up big with those 2 kills off the 1 bullet from Fallen top on that cat aggression. And from here, it's another round where CLG start 2 men down. This happened at A few rounds ago, and they still wound up finding out a way to convert it. So we'll see if they have the same luck this time around, whether or not CLG can actually shut them out, as CLG have won a lot of 3-on-5s and eco rounds this map already, if we're honest, so I can't count them out.
No, definitely not. And when they're working as a unit on this map, at least they've been able to trade pretty effectively. But Cold shutting things down before they can even get going with his teammate for Tarek. They only want to get a frag for the terrorists.
Right, and so now it's going to be Tarek all alone here with the bomb, just pushing in here. Does pick up Cold, so that was a solid frag. He's at 60 HP here, but everyone on Luminosity is quite healthy. One more in connector will peek him. It'll be Bolts, and that will be the round for Luminosity. So off the back of Fallen's opening, Luminosity will close out the round this time, and so they have begun to close this gap. I mean, there was this point in time where CLG were on a 6-round winning streak, and now we've seen Luminosity win the last 3 of 4 rounds, so really well done.
Yeah, CLG should be able to save into this one and buy up next time off the back of Hayes' massive economy, $5,400. It must be those 9 deaths, spending them wisely, choosing the right rounds to be dying on if he's even choosing them. But we also saw them be effective with pistols earlier on. They won a full eco before seemingly out of nowhere. Fallen doesn't want that to happen again. He's doing everything in his power to make sure it doesn't, but it's still a possibility. Can't count it out.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think at this point we can. I mean, CLG are just...
And now you can. But when I started that sentence,
yeah, of course. Eric and Finesse here, just left alone. Finesse, and they're really split apart as well. So I mean, this round is going to be over. Probably Luminosity with a flawless victory here, unless Finesse decides to get a frag with this P250. Steel is in the area. Flash comes in. Steel not going to chase it. He's got such low HP. Just waiting this thing out. Throws out a pop flash. Finesse still catches him with the response. So it won't be the perfect round for Luminosity, but still a victory nonetheless. And now it's tied up at 7-all. So what began to look pretty rough of a game has now equaled out to be quite a nail-biter, to be honest, at least so far.
Yeah, there's going to put that much more. I mean, there's always emphasis on it, but just that much more emphasis on the pistol round, and CLG is going to need it. But right now, they are going to have full rifles up here. Pretty much everybody. Actually, not JDM. I thought JDM might have been going to pick up an op on the ground, but now he's just completely gunless. He is just Tech 9'd up, has fallen. Going to be taking his position at the top of mid, op in hand, trying to pretend to be JDM here for the counter-terrorists, cutting off a huge portion of the map.
Right, we do see CLG setting up for some set smokes at B, but this is all a sham. They're going to fake this, and they're going to run 3 underpass to make it back to the A site with Tarek and Hayes waiting over there. I've seen this run this before. The only key thing that could happen here is if Colden Fur cuts him off that connector. And Fallen's also, they had 3 guys at mid that cut these 3 players off from ever making it to A to assist their team. And that's exactly what we're seeing happen as Cutler got some damage dealt, but they still couldn't really get over there. But they've played it well enough to get it into a 2-on-2, but Hayes is quite low. Tarek will be able to get the spawn planted because CT spawn is smoked off, so he can't be punished from there just yet. Hold over here in the connector. His teammate Steel has been heard in CT spawn. The smoke has faded away, however, so some of the defenses that CLG are relying on earlier to get the bomb planted are now gone as Luminosity begins to work into this retake here. They have a bit of a crossfire set up between Tetris and the back corner, but now it's all up to Hayes. 1 versus 2. He's found one. Can he find the other? No, it's going to be Steel instead. He will get on the defuse, and that will be the end of the half. Luminosity winning it 8-7, but that's still some pretty good damage dealt there by CLG on the T side to put that number on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if a team is going to look that well put together on the terrorist side of this map, their CT side is only going to follow suit. It's rare to see a team well organized on terrorist side and not be all the way there on CT side. So, and also, you know, a team like CLG, they've been around the block. They're going to have a good CT side Mirage. I think it's just going to put a lot of pressure on Luminosity here and their ability to similarly find and fight for the map control like CLG was early on in those first few rounds. When they're stringing together rounds, CLG was getting behind Luminosity in ways that Luminosity wasn't in no way prepared for. Mid-round situations that Luminosity had no idea were going down, and I'm curious if they themselves can return the favor and stick it back to CLG.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, of course, we had that moment in time where CLG really had a lot going for them. They had that 6 rounds in a row. It was looking great, but then Luminosity recovered and still put up a respectable score. But you definitely got to think that CLG have the slight edge here after having done so much damage on the terrorist side. So now we're just waiting for everyone to ready up so we can kick off that second half with Luminosity in the lead here. And again, teams very similar styles on Mirage. Luminosity also likes to work the mid control. They were regarded for a time as being kind of a one-trick pony with all these smoke setups at the A-bomb side, but they've expanded to really having some cool mid control stuff. Similar to what you saw from CLG that last half. They are a slow, methodical team, though, so they are a bit slower paced on how they work mid initially, and compared to the CLG, who are pretty quick to getting a connector with it. So you'll notice a slight decrease in speed and tempo, but a very similar style overall, I think, for Luminosity.
Yeah, a lot of it was also set up by the fact not only were they getting the mid control, but they were timing their pinches so perfectly. The players that were coming up connector and the players that were coming up in the A ramp were so well timed, and they were able to catch counter terrorists that were trying to split their attention in two directions.
All right, as we do see CLG trying to hold off Luminosity here, as they do try to work this mid right now from underpass as well as the back of mid. We do already have a kill coming in from Hayes as he was playing from the connector here, and now he'll have a chance at a couple more as they begin to keep crossing cat. Bolts is low, but he still finds the kill on the Hayes regardless, so not nicely done, but Finesse has been able to get the bomb down with one, looking for a second onto Bolts, who is still so low on HP. I don't get how he's still alive, but he's the last one left, and they just can't finish this guy off. He's just weaving all these bullets, but finally Finesse gets the hat trick on the round, so now we're all tied up at 8-8. And we do know that CLG can have a pretty good CT shot on this map, so Luminosity will have to play rounds down when that first buy comes out.
And despite the fact that Bolts was able to get a frag on that last round and was able to show off his dance moves and his ability to avoid bullets, he hasn't been able to frag quite with the rest of his team thus far in the series. He does have 5 assists, so that is important to note, but with a 4-11 scoreline, you expect more from Bolts. And I mean, I was saying the same thing about Steel earlier, and the first time I cast their game against Enemy, and for some reason, they'll have 4 players playing fantastically well, and one that just can't quite keep up and frag with the rest of the teammates. And if he can come alive here and be the 5th fragger that they need, I think a lot of those rounds that Luminosity was winning early on could very easily have gone the other way if he just had another player that was picking up, 3, maybe 4 more frags overall spread across those rounds.
Right, as we do have Luminosity tech-9ing up. They didn't get a bomb plant the first round, so this is expected for them to invest a little bit into this round, see if they can't make something happen. They do try to work themselves into B. Tarek playing boosted up on top of the site. Will find 1 kill there. Finesse playing the catwalk is going to be catching some of this as well, but he does fall. And Luminosity does begin to work themselves into the site, but JDM is still here to prevent them from getting the bomb plant, at least for now. Cold with the Tech-9 in a 1 versus 3, trying to make something happen, but can't find it. And so CLG will go up 9-8, and Luminosity probably won't have anything invested into this round. So there should be a quick one and a 10-8 for CLG as we move into the first rifle round.
Yeah, the thing that Luminosity has going for them is that was an unbelievably costly round for the CLG players. So if there is going to be a round where you could really stick it to the other team, this is going to be it. We saw CLG win essentially a full eco early on in the first half. So who's to say that Luminosity Gaming can't respond in a similar way? But with Cold Zera down to 1 HP and his boy Fur similarly lit up, I'm not sure if they're gonna be able to get it done.
Yeah, it's just Finesse being aggressive on the catwalk here with Hayes playing that connector and JDM inside the window, and they're just gonna be able to light LG up. So, on the CT side for CLG going to the first gun round, I mean, they're the classic guy who likes to put their op in window at JDM. Hayes will be kind of that stairs connector player with Cutler being kind of more the A anchor, I guess you could call it. Then Tarek will actually anchor B, while Finesse is kind of that more aggressive cat rotator. But you see a lot of setups where you'll see, hey, okay. I thought I was going to see something cool there for a second, but then it got caught on. But, definitely be on the lookout for CLG with Hayes, Finesse, and JDM in tandem doing some aggressive stuff at mid at times. But other than that, they just play it kind of default most of the time. But they have some really skilled players to hold their sight. So we'll just see if Luminosity can crack it. Again, they like their mid-control style. They also had their heavy A stuff. They don't really touch B as much as CLG does. But like I said, it'll look pretty similar, but they're just a bit slower and a bit more passive.
Yeah, we're also not going to be seeing Fallen breaking out the op on this round. Money just didn't allow that to happen as Hayes gets an opening frag in mid. But Fallen was a huge, important fragger for Luminosity thus far in this game. He's top fragging for his team and was getting so many impact frags and round opening frags for his team.
Yeah, CLG getting a bit aggressive here at mid. They've had mixed results, but they've come out ahead in the end, and that's what matters most. But JDM has taken a lot of damage inside the window, but with that op, he's still very serviceable at low HP. Just got to be a bit smarter on his positioning, as we do see Steel, the lurker for the team, creeping up upper B. Finesse is right here waiting to catch him as he falls, but not in a romantic way, and more of a I'm going to kill you kind of way.
As you're romantic.
Yeah, I guess, but Steel does pick up the frag, and so that means B-bomb side is open. This bomb is still kind of stuck at mid, however. Now Steel comes out to assist him to allow him to get out, but JDM has moved that op over to window, and Steel just might do this by himself, but no, JDM takes down the kill, but the bomb can now make its way up connector to A, so Steel doing a lot of work this round to ensure that this bomb can get planted. JDM has no clue until just now that the bomb has been planted A. Curious to see if he's going to go for this here. Fallen actually pushing the CT spawn. Will JDM pick up on it? No, he slips into jungle. So we are going to see JDM just keep poking into the site. Of course, Fallen hears all of this now. JDM works himself in here. Very, very low HP. He's got to find the shot quick. He does, in fact, have a kit, so that gives him a little bit more time to work with, but he has no clue where Fallen is. And with the low HP, he can't really engage much more, so he'll just back off and save the op. And so there you have it. Luminosity winning the first gun round here.
Yeah, I'm not exactly surprised to see JDM saving here. A, because by the time he even comes close to figuring out where Fallen is, there's no way he's going to be able to get the frag and the defuse. But also there was that slight hesitation immediately as soon as the bomb got planted. It seems like he knew he was taking a gamble and hoping that he had picked the right bomb site. But he knew that if no one crosses my crosshair, this is a 50-50 one. I could just be giving up a complete bomb site, and that's exactly what happened. He didn't react immediately in such a way that made me think that he was surprised by the A plan and more just kind of coming to terms with the reality of that he was just not at the right bomb site. So smart play holding on to that op. His teammates are able to rebuy a round. That is the first round win on the terrorist side for Luminosity. Let's see if they can string it together and find some economic solvency here, or if CLG can shut it down and hard eco Luminosity.
Yeah, LG working up aggressively again here at mid, just working that same mid control that CLG did to them. Big smokes up as well, really denying Finesse and JDM any vision on what's really going on here, as Hayes is even falling back over to A ramp. He's not even really challenging this mid anymore, just making sure he catches whatever A ramp attack is going to be happening here, which he does spot out bolts. Meanwhile, Finesse has picked up the kill onto Cole, and now we do see that bomb shifting from Fallen into terrorist spawn. So this is still going to be an A hit with Steel lurking in the underpass to try to cut off rotations as he can. But I mean, Cutler and Hayes are still just inside the site, and JDM's not too far away with the op, so this is going to be a difficult take.
Yeah, it is most certainly. Fallen's going to be that first player coming in, even with the bomb on his back. He doesn't care at all. He wants the frags. Hayes though lining, almost two of them up there with the M4 catching a dink as well.
Yeah, he did get one kill. He also weakened both here, just playing that off angle, catching them completely off guard. I think that's the exact off angle that Steel used as an example in a video he did on YouTube. It's just playing a spot you don't really expect to see. Yeah, North American Steel did a YouTube tutorial where he talked about off angles, and he used that exact one as an example. And we see it getting put to use there to secure CLG around and force Luminosity into a save, resetting their money. And so this is good for CLG to kind of work towards extending their lead and build up their own bank.
Yeah, I'm not the kind of person that watches a lot of just pros just like solo streaming, like whatever they're doing, hanging out. But I tuned into Steel stream once for probably 10 minutes grand total. I watched one off angle that he worked on Dust 2, and I've used it ever since, and I don't think it has failed me once. Like, that dude is such a Counter-Strike brain, it's ridiculous.
I have to hit you up about that off angle after we're done here tonight.
It's on long A. It's the God angle.
Okay. Well, we are going to see Luminosity here a man up. They did get the initial pick despite the fact that they were on a save, and it's actually JDM's op that they collected to put into Fallen's hands, and we know the force that he can be with it. So CLG do need to be a bit concerned as they are a man down with Fallen with an AWP in his hands. But the rest of Luminosity is quite light. In fact, 3 of them are just on Glocks alone. So they really have to rely on Fallen's op to get the job done. Bolts does have a deagle, so he has something to work with as well. But they also have CLG really split up here, just 2 in each site because CLG have no information. So this does help them out quite a lot as LG will begin to work into A here. Hayes does take out Fur. Fallen just holding out with the op, looking for this pick into jungle, but Hayes has not peeked him just yet. Finally does, and there's the kill from Fallen. Bolts gets a kill at the Glock, but wow, that was really fast with Cutler, Tarek, and Finesse all chiming in to shut out the round. And so it is 12-9 for CLG.
Yeah, and I think that's actually going to continue to deny Luminosity Gaming the money to get a full buy-in here. It's going to allow CLG to get that much closer to map point, or match point, as it is a best of 2. And Luminosity, yeah, they're not going to be going for the buy here. Both the only one even to get armor, as they're going to go for a quick A executor. I don't think they're going to waste any time. I think they might just throw these nades and hop right out.
That's probably what you're going to see here. They do have 5 smokes. We're probably just going to see like 3 thrown at some point, maybe like the straight line through the site just to see if they can't plant inside the middle smoke and get a plant out of this, is what I'm guessing. Maybe also an extra smoke on CT spawn. Yeah, okay, so just the straight line of smokes through the site. They're just going to try to work this in. Cutler does jump up on top to take a boost, but I think you can still see a good bit over this. And Hayes is just like right up in the midst of all of it, probably just looking to run in when he hears that bomb plant begin. As JDM is actually going to get boosted up here. He is going to find a kill. There's Hayes rushing in, trying to get the bomb planter from before he can get it down, but he doesn't. Still gets the frag, however, and now CLG will just be on what should be a quite easy retake at this point. Yeah, just Steel left with the Deagle here at a ramp, and that's going to be another round here for CLG. Now up 13-9, but Luminosity should have plenty of bank to use next round to see if they can't make something work and get back on the board.
Really solid retake from the CLG players there, but honestly, if there was an MVP of that round, I think it would be Tabson for having the perfect camera angle to capture all of those nades and smokes that Luminosity Gaming was throwing out there on the A bomb site and timing the player to engage perfectly. So kudos to you, Tabson, for capturing all of that. There was a lot to get in there in one bomb site, and that one bird's eye angle really covered everything.
Again, a shout out to Tabson from Penta Esports for being our cameraman tonight for North American matches. Don't ask me how it happened. I have no clue.
I joined the server and Tabson had his mic on singing.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what's going on.
He's a great person to have, obviously. Pro players are great at knowing what to watch and when, so he's been a great cameraman for us here tonight. As we do see Luminosity going for that mid control again. JDM's op is in position. Hayes is, again, not really playing towards stairs. He's been playing pretty aggressive towards A ramp lately, so he's kind of helped, I guess, give mid to Luminosity, so to speak, but Luminosity hasn't been able to work too much from that positioning, but they do have an even man situation now, and let's see what they're going to do here.
Is Fur in window? Yeah, Fur is in window. Okay, so he was hanging out in the smoke for a while. I cannot figure out exactly where he is. There is some potential for Hayes to get punished here by Fur, but I think by the time Fur works in that direction, well, he's actually almost directly right next to Hayes. Hayes might be aware of it.
Yeah, I'm not really 100% sure here. As we do see Luminosity gathering up 3 members at upper B. They do have a pretty good crossfire set up here with Finesse just jump peeking, and we have Tarek ready to set up a sick pop flash. So these two could really just shut down the upper B hit no matter what Fur's really ever to accomplish. As one flash has already been thrown to slow them down. Finesse does know they're there as well. So here comes the second pop flash from Tarek. Or actually, Tarek won't even do it. He'll just try to step out and frag anyway. And so now Finesse and Tarek have pretty much held this thing off. The bomb is down.
It's on Fur.
Yeah, Fallen goes down on the flank. So yeah, it is all up to Fur. 1 versus 2 out of time. Tries to just sneak the bomb out of there. Tries to see if he can't plant it, but now he's just going to lose the round. CLG will move up another tick, as it is now 14-9 in favor of CLG.
Oh man, he almost really hurt Fur's economy there with that wall bang off shot. Had he found the head there, that would have been absolutely insane. But off though. Going to be recovered from the CTs. The Terrorists themselves bought up as much as they can. They're trying so desperately to cling on to this game, but I mean, I really don't see it with no op on Fallen. He has just such an ability to change the pace of the rounds first. He's always getting the first touch.
And the problem is like LG's in a situation now where their economy's just been in shambles for like the last 5 or 6 rounds. And here they're pretty much in a force buy. If they lose this next round, it'll be even worse force buy. So they really need to win this round. They need to string a couple together in a row, to be honest, to get out of this rut they're in economically. And so far, they're off to a good start getting into A, but it's still even and actually in favor of CLG when you think about the health situation here, with a lot of people from LG just really bleeding out. And that incendiary comes in, and they're not able to get away from it there. JDM gets the kill. Finesse quick on 1 as well, and that's all up to Steel. 19 HP. Hanging out here at the fireboxes.
Finesse!
And Steel being so smart about it. He's just waiting for someone to call on the defuse so that he can actually ninja this defuse. He's just waiting a little bit longer, and gets the perfect timing on the frag, and Steel might just come up with this as he ninjas his way through the smoke again. They can't find him. They can't even get on this bomb safely. Steel is just weaseling around, but finally gets caught by Tarek, and Finesse should be able to get it. He's got the kit. Shouldn't be a problem. There it is. 15-9 for CLG, but Steel, he made that, he got your heart pounding a little bit there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if it was a situation where Steel was really causing that much havoc, or if CLG was kind of just playing it cool, calm, collected, using the full bomb timer there. But either way, I think they cut that one a little closer than they would have wanted to initially. And Finesse, like, probably a pixel away from spotting where Steel was there. So a little bit of bad luck there. You know, stronger buy here from Luminosity, as they're all going to be AK'd up going into this last one. There's no reason not to be economically invested here. But still, they don't have that off to control the pace. JDM's been using his so effectively.
Right, at least they got that bomb planter that allowed them to actually get full AKs and full head armor. They do have low utility, though, when it comes to the nades, but this is still a much better buying situation than what they would have been had they not gotten the plant. It would have been just like Galil's and hardly anything at all. And FaZe plant aggressive connector for one of the first times we've seen him do that. He does get caught for it, however. Finesse trying to equalize it out from Catwalk, but he gets taken down as well. He's done a lot of damage, but no kills. JDM and Cutler, though, coming in. They've even it back up to a 3 versus 3 here. JDM gets another one in, and so now there's just 2 members left for LG, but they're falling apart quick, falling all alone now. 1 versus 3, very low HP. But same with the rest of all the CLG members, but he's running out of time. The bomb's not down in an opportune position, so this is not looking good for Fallen at all. But we'll sit back here and see if he can work this thing out as he just kind of slowly works his way into connector. They're all spread out though, so I mean he might get some one-on-ones here, but with low HP, it's gonna be tough, and he'll just get caught by Tarek as he's not really peeking the right angle as he comes up. But I mean, you can't blame him there. He had too much to work against, and there you have it. So CLG, the Lord of the Ties, I think is what I saw on Twitter.
That. Yeah.
And it still holds true now because they had 4 ties coming into this game. Now they have 5 ties, so they've even progressed. Maybe they're now like supreme masters of ties at this point, or whatever.
They SMFC, they're just the champions of the high highs and the low lows.
Lord of the Flies? Yes, I think that's what they were going for.
Lord of the Ties.
Oh, okay. Please someone in the stream can hear you and we're not getting trolled talking to you. Oh, dang.
You're talking to a voice that no one else can hear.
Yep, that's probably what happened there. Oh, well.
Either way, though, that is a really convincing second map there for CLG, continuing their tie streak. 5 straight. No one else can do it like them. CLG constantly breaking down barriers. And Luminosity, I think, picking up a solid performance on Cash. I think they left a little bit to be desired on Mirage, but I also can't really imagine a world where Method's going to be trying to challenge them on Mirage unless it's Method's own map pick, and I think that would be a mistake. I think there were some bright spots in Luminosity's CT side, and particularly when they weren't super bright and they were getting punished a little bit. I think it was mostly not so much about their inability to play CT as it was CLG just getting such great map control.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think really solid showing from both these two teams at times. And I think Method is going to be in for a tough one here. But I think, honestly, if those last few rounds of Mirage showed me anything, that if you can deny Fallen and Op any way possible, it doesn't matter how or why,